Okay, for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, I know what you're thinking. What the hell are you doing? Why is this the video you're returning with after not having anything for the past couple of weeks? And explanation is pretty simple. Last 2 weeks have been hectic. I'm not going to go into detail about it. Been kind of crazy these past couple of weeks. I've been having some issues with family members. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into detail. But yeah, this is not the video I wanted to come back with, but I wanted to get something out for this week, and this got announced last night, so I figured this is the perfect opportunity to have a new discussion video. And I want to try and do more Let's Talks for relevant information, because I kind of missed the mark on a few of those. Like, I wanted to do some Let's Talks on movies and things like that, but I didn't. So this is kind of my chance to start this again and see if I can keep up the streak for at least a little while. So with all that said, hope you guys enjoy. So about 2 years ago, when Power Rangers Legacy Wars released on Android and iOS, one of the first thoughts I had about it was, wow, it would have been real nice if this was on console. And, well, here we are. Last night, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid was announced as a new console Power Rangers game, which is something we haven't gotten since, I think the last one on home console was Power Rangers Super Samurai on the Kinect. And the last Power Rangers game, period, that we've had is, I think, Super Mega Force on the 3DS, which, this is a new console fighting game with the Power Rangers name attached to it, obviously. I know I shouldn't be excited. I know I shouldn't get hyped for this, because all the signs are pointing that this is going to suck. This is just going to be Legacy Wars on console, and it's not going to be good. But the more I look at this, the more I just can't help but get excited for it. I don't know why. I just can't help but get hyped for it. I just look at all this stuff, and it's like, this looks pretty promising. But I guess I should go into detail as to what this is. Like I mentioned, it's a console fighting game for Power Rangers, coming out on Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. So all the major consoles, so there's nothing confirmed for mobile. Legacy Wars is just going to stay Legacy Wars, or maybe they'll discontinue support for that in favor of supporting this new game. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's a new console fighting game releasing on all the relevant platforms. Switch is the one I was hoping for the most, and well, they had a shot in the trailer specifically to detail all the consoles, and Switch is one of them, so yay. This seems to be sort of an upgrade of Legacy Wars. Like, it's taking the mechanics, visuals, and all that other stuff from Legacy Wars, not only putting it on console, but also upgrading it, improving the mechanics, how the game plays, changing up the combat system, and several things of that nature, which is nice because I played Legacy Wars. There were aspects of it I liked, aspects of it I didn't like, and overall I thought it was okay. Like, it's a mobile game, what can you really expect? And this game seems to be a better version of Legacy Wars, which I'm really happy about, because they can take what they already had from Legacy Wars and expand upon it, add more to it. And this game actually has quite a few features that I'm happy to hear, but this seems a little too ambitious, and you'll see what I mean when I list this off. It's got cross-platform play, so any of the 4 consoles can play with each other. I assume Sony is okay with this too, I'm hoping, because if they aren't, it's just going to make them look like dicks. It's got online multiplayer and a single-player story mode, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that story mode, because I doubt they're going to get a lot of Power Ranger actors back for this game. Like, they're going to have JDF, obviously. He was in the trailer, so he's going to be there. And maybe some of the newer, like, Ninja Steel, Cast Rangers, Samurai, Mega Force, and things like that. But, I don't know. If this story mode even has voice acting, I'm a little skeptical. I mean, if they get good sound-alikes, again, that's implying that this has voice acting. Like, it's going to have voices in combat, but it looks like they might go the Nintendo route and just have text boxes with characters like for every time they have a new text box on screen, which kind of unfortunate. It's not going to have the rock, paper, scissors system, and it's not going to be a free-to-play game, so you're not going to have like crappy touchscreen controls and like just swiping across the screen to dodge. And hopefully, with this new control setup, you will be able to block anytime you want. And if that's the case, yes! Thank you. That was my biggest problem with Legacy Wars in terms of gameplay, was the fact that you couldn't just block at any time. You had to wait for the blocking card to come up, and then it would be used like that. Also, hopefully, the card system, since it's gone, maybe that'll get rid of the point system too. You have 10 points, and when you use a card, it spends a certain amount of points, so you have to wait for those to recharge during battle. And they recharged fairly quickly, but with a controller setup, they have plenty of buttons, so we can have all of our attacks anytime we want. And that probably means they're going to have some damage nerfs, like all the characters that are being brought over from Legacy Wars, you're going to get nerfed to hell, just so the battles don't end as quickly. Because if you could do any move at any time, then characters are going to die in like 10 hits. And that's another thing about Legacy Wars and the way that they balanced it, is you couldn't just go in and constantly attack, because you had to wait for your points to recharge, and you had to wait for your attack cards to come up. So they might nerf a lot of the characters because of this. And also, I mentioned it's not free to play, so you're not going to have to spend real money to get a chance to get your Rangers. You pay for the game, you get the base Rangers, and there's also DLC that you can pay for in order to get more characters. They're doing multiple season passes for this game, and they're kind of going the standard fighting game route of keeping the game alive through DLC, which I can't say I'm against, because that's kind of like an easy way to get people to keep playing, because it's like, hey, there's new characters available. I'm like, alright, I'll pop the game in and play again, just check out these new characters. So it's always a neat incentive to get players to come back, but at this point everyone does it, and it feels kind of cheap at this point. Like, there's several Nintendo games that did it. I already mentioned fighting games have done it. I think shooters also have done this as well on other consoles, where they'll just deliberately add more content. And it's like, hey, new content available, come back, play our game. And it's like, no, I don't feel like it right now. And everyone just does it at this point. When the concept was invented, it was neat, but everyone does it at this point. So they're going to have some really awesome characters in this one. And they did have some neat ones in Legacy Wars. They had characters like Zenaku from Wild Force, which, who would have seen that coming? Even a couple of comic exclusive characters like Lord Draken, or is it Draken or Draken? I think it's Draken. You also get like that one Zord. I don't know what it's called, but it's like that Zord thing. You know what I'm talking about? The robot that they added to Legacy Wars that was in the comics. That guy and stuff like that. And recently they added Blake from Ninja Storm. Okay, it seems kind of odd, but alright, whatever. And they also have characters from the movie. In fact, the mobile game Legacy Wars was originally made to tie in with the movie, but it ended up like growing and expanding beyond that to the point where it's now getting a sequel, which, by the way, one, why are we still using the movie logo even though this is a separate game and there's no movie to tie into it? And two, why does it still say Saban's Power Rangers? Hasbro already has the rights to Power Rangers. Saban Entertainment is gone. Like, Saban still exists. It's just Saban Entertainment, which was making the Neo Saban seasons of Power Rangers. They're gone now, so I don't get why it's Saban's Power Rangers. It just seems kind of weird to me, especially considering I think, was it next month that Beast Morphers is starting? It's either like February or April. I don't know which, but that's another thing. I expect Beast Morphers characters to be in this game. Like, I just kind of expect all of them to be there. That just makes sense. But anyways, the price of the game is $19.99, which kind of is a red flag on its own, because if the game is priced that low, then that must mean the developers don't really care all that much for it, or they know it's not going to sell well, or something. That just doesn't seem right to me. Then again, this is an indie game, and I feel like people don't get that. It's a friggin' indie game. Shovel Knight costs more than this, people, alright? Shovel Knight is $25, and so it costs more than Battle for the Grid, and no one seems to understand that. No one seems to understand this is a This is a friggin' indie game. Guys, it's not meant to be a AAA release. Maybe in the future we'll get a AAA release. But we haven't even gotten a game in years. So, if it's better than Legacy Wars, then yes, thank you. And in addition to having the base game be $20, the season pass is going to be $20. But, red flag. It says Season 1 pass. Season 1. Which means, if this is successful enough, they're going to have more DLC. Which means, yes, inevitably, all the DLC combined together is going to cost more than the base game. Why? Why do games keep doing this? I am so tired of it. Why does DLC always end up costing more than the actual game? That never makes any sense to me. It's a minor complaint, and I know I'm gonna buy it all anyway, because of course I am. It's annoying, man. I hate that. Also, game balance is actually going to be done by people such as Justin Wong. And if you don't know who Justin Wong is, he's played competitive Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, and he's going to be helping out with gameplay balances and whatnot. Which brings up an interesting idea. Legacy Wars is essentially a 3v3 game, but the problem is assist characters are treated as moves. Like, there's special moves that you get to use, where the ranger just comes out, uses their move, and then screws off for the rest of the match unless their card comes back. If they change the 3v3 system, and there's no cards, then I'm hoping this is like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, in which you get 3 characters and you can switch between them at any time. That would be the dream, but I'm not hoping for it. I really am not. Like, it would be nice, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. That just doesn't seem like something that would happen, as sad as it may seem. If it happens, it happens. Cool. But if not, then I'm not going to be too upset. Wouldn't that be great? Marvel vs. Capcom 3 style, like switching between characters, and the balancing is going to be done by someone who understands, you know, big fighting games, like AAA fighting games made by Capcom. And also, are they going to bring back the Street Fighter stuff that they had in Legacy Wars? Because they had a crossover with Street Fighter for some reason. I don't know why, but they had a Street Fighter crossover with characters, and they had a Ryu Ranger. They gave Ryu a Morpher and a Power Coin. They turned Ryu into a Power Ranger. Do you understand how awesome that is to me? That is just... He did a Shoryuken in the short film! He Shoryuken the friggin... But I'm not really sure if they're going to bring that stuff back. It's completely up in the air. I have no clue if they're going to still do the Street Fighter stuff. I don't know if the license expired or what happened there. I hope it comes back, and maybe they could do some crossovers with some other stuff. I think the next logical thing to add to the game would be Ninja Turtle stuff. You know, if they want to have another guest character thing. Because that's the thing nowadays with fighting games. Like, Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 got into Tekken. I think the Ninja Turtles and Mortal Kombat characters got into the Injustice games, and you got so many third-party characters in Smash to the point where once Joker releases, you'll be able to have an 8-player match with all third-party characters, and that still won't be all the third-party characters. Like, that's just crazy. And it's just all sorts of different properties. It's like Pac-Man from Namco, Mega Man from Capcom, Sonic, Joker, and Bayonetta, which are all technically owned by Sega, even though only one of them actually belongs to Sega, but, you know, details. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a Street Fighter collaboration, and the Street Fighter characters get brought back to Battle for the Grid as guest characters, or if they just had a new guest character set entirely. But I really hope, above all else, that assists and main characters are not treated as separate characters. That would really suck if that was the case, but with the new changes that they're adding in this one, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Just thank God. That was just so annoying in Legacy Wars whenever you got a character and got shards for the character and then, oh, no, you can't play as them. No, that's an assist. You can use that as a side thing, though, but hopefully with the new 3v3 system, and if you can swap out between characters, then that would mean you just unlock a character and you get to play as them or have them as a backup, which is yes. Overall, I I just can't help but get excited for this game. Again, I know I shouldn't be. I know I really should not be excited for this, because I just feel it in the depths of my heart that this is going to be bad. But with all these details that are being released, like, again, the PvP, there's a single player mode, professional balancing done by pros in the fighting game community who know what they're talking about and know what they're doing. This just seems very promising, and I'm sure Hasbro told the developers to do stuff like this just because they want to make a good first impression, because this is the first fighting game for Power Rangers that's being released under the Hasbro brand. So they want to make a good first impression with the first game that they have here, although they could probably make a better first impression with their handle on Power Rangers by making Beast Morphers good, but we're going to have to wait for that. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say on the subject matter. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on this new console fighting game for Power Rangers down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time for whatever, whenever, here on my channel.